Hello, Justine McKnight. Can you tell us a little bit about where you work and what you do?
All right. So I'm an archaeobotanist, archaeology and botany stuck together. I study the remains of plants that are preserved at archaeological sites. I work out of my home in West River. I have a lab set up there and a flotation machine and all the equipment that I use to do my work. I work for archaeologists all over the Eastern Woodlands, but I have to say my favorite projects are here close to home in the Chesapeake. Those are what I like to do the best.
Okay, great. So what's your favorite thing about your job?
Oh, that's pretty easy. I think it's that I'm always learning something new. I don't think I approach any project that I don't get to learn some new aspect of history, of archaeology, of geology, of landscape. I'm constantly challenged by things I see under my microscope, a seed I'm not familiar with, plant artifacts that I haven't come across before, and that's exciting. That's fun. It's fun to constantly have something new to explore and to look up and to figure out.
Okay, cool. What first got you interested in archaeology, and what is it that sort of drives you to keep doing archaeology?
Well, I think archaeology and archaeobotany, even more specifically, to me, it's really fundamental to being human, to our experience of life on the planet and our role in shaping and changing our environment. It seems to me to be, plants are just essential to the human experience. They have been through deep time. And I often marvel at the plants I use and interact with on a daily basis, whether it's food or clothes I'm putting on or the stuff I'm working on in my garden or the forest I'm walking through on my property. It resonates with me that plants have been essential to human experience from the dawn of time, and they continue to be in the modern age. And I don't know, that keeps it interesting and exciting for me, and that's what first drew me to the field.
Okay, so yeah, you said that plants were an integral part of the human experience from the very beginning, and your Maryland Archaeology Month essay sort of delves into that. So can you tell us a little bit about your Archaeology Month topic?
Yeah, well, when I was invited to contribute some archaeobotanical research to the Maryland Archaeology Month theme of healing and medicine, at first I was a little bit challenged. I was like, wow, what can I sort of pull out of the bag to showcase? And then I realized it was kind of an opportunity to talk about how underrepresented archaeobotanical remains associated with healing, medicine, therapeutic activities, spiritual or religious applications. Archaeobotanical remains tend to be pretty poorly represented or poorly understood archaeologically. And I think that that's in large part due to the challenges in the pathways to preservation. So most of the remains that I study have been carbonized, and it's really pretty amazing. Plant remains, when they're burned, it's all of their interior structure. If they're burned in a low oxygen environment, all of that structure of the plant is preserved intact and beautifully, and it's there to measure and to look at the morphology and to compare it to plant materials that we know from reference collections. Excuse me. And plants that are burned they often got into the archaeological record through burning, through activities associated with burning, like cooking, right? Or the conflagration of a home, burning of a structure, burning of firewood, burning of tinder used to start a fire. When we think about medicinal plants, perhaps they weren't used in association with heating or cooking activities, not necessarily. So I think that in part explains how underrepresented medicinal plants are in the archaeological record. So anyway, I kind of landed on the theme of tobacco because tobacco, while we know it forms such a critical part of Maryland history, right? From the earliest days of the colony and even pre-contact, Native Americans in the region that we now call Maryland used a native tobacco, and they used it for to fill all kinds of needs. We recover artifacts associated with tobacco use, things like pipes, but until really recently, we had not discovered any tobacco plant artifacts in the archaeological record. But due to some new recovery techniques and archaeobotanists being super careful about their analysis of very minute plant materials, and tobacco seeds are so small you can hardly see them with the naked eye. But I'm happy to report that recently we've been able to document tobacco seeds at a lot of different sites across Maryland, and that's sort of filling in the story about where and how tobacco may have been used, both historically and prehistorically, to Marylanders.
Okay, interesting. I was sort of surprised at how rare tobacco seed recovery was, but I didn't know about the size and all that other stuff. So that's interesting. So considering that we're still stuck in this COVID-19 pandemic, how do you think that this research is about health and healing is relevant to today?
Well, it's the perfect theme, right, for Maryland Archeology Month during this novel time. I've been thinking about that a fair bit, and to me, looking at the past through this archaeological lens, right, it's almost amusing to consider how humans have used and tried all these different therapies, materials, plants to try to solve health challenges and health problems. And some of them seem ridiculous when we look back on them. Things like, just the bare fact that tobacco used to be thought of as a medicinal plant, as a beneficial healing plant to take nicotine into your body. And now, we essentially know the complete opposite. It's not good for you at all. So I think this theme of health and healing gives us an opportunity to sort of look at human hubris and look back at ourselves and go, yeah, we've got all this tremendous ingenuity and creativity and how we solve our problems and how we use the resources that are around us to address problems. And I think it's a really appropriate and interesting theme for us to consider during this time.
Okay, thank you. So what's the first thing that you want to do once COVID is over? Once we're finally able to step out of our houses and re-engage the public?
Yeah, I actually just really can't wait to gather around a table with my family and some friends and share food with our masks off and see everybody's full face. I've missed that the most, and I really look forward to it.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time today and for your answers to your questions. It was really interesting talking to you.
All right, thanks so much, Matt.